I just want to go into the third portion of the destruction of Mystery Babylon. It is written in scripture, so we will continue to deal with it so that you can be able to testify with people and witness to people about the trouble that is ahead of all men that get into Roman Catholicism. So anybody on earth, brothers and sisters, who will allow himself or herself to be ruled by laws that is not God, but by any other form, when that person dies in that state, you are 100% going to land in hell fire. This is because God maintains the sole rulership of the life of man on earth. He told Daniel to tell Nebuchadnezzar, there's a God that rules in the kingdom of man. So if you're a man and you allow yourself to be ruled by any other form of God apart from Jesus Christ, and you die in that rulership authority, you will land yourself in hell. That is why the Lord Almighty in 740 BC made it known to Isaiah to tell the world of the people that live in Babylon, who will later be the people of the Mystery Babylon, to be very careful of what type of laws that is ruling their lives in relation with God. So in Isaiah chapter 47 verse 13, we saw God telling Isaiah concerning how human beings must not allow astrology, stargazing, and then monthly prognosticators, people who look at the moon and the sun and the stars to control people. For this is the doctrine of Babylon, Mystery Babylon. Last Thursday I told you that anybody that would think that Mystery Babylon, Catholic Church, theology or teaching is from Scripture, it's not correct. For this is where we see, and I use one of the most important festivals of Christendom, Easter, which is taking place in almost all Christian world, billions and billions of people. But I told you that as you are functioning in them, that authority, that rulership, that making you succumb to that Easter and Palm Sunday and Ash Wednesday and the rest, they don't come from thus saith the Lord. They come from the mathematicians and the calculations of the moon and the stars and the sun and the way the heavenly host have effect on man. That is what the Vatican uses to bring Easter and the rest, the date to mankind. So you see that at a certain point in time, your rulership, your character, the thing that makes you think that you are worshiping God doesn't come from Scripture, but come from the heavenly realm, which God said we shouldn't do. So when we remain under that rulership, the stargazing and monthly prognosticators, we will make sure that when we die, we will go to hell. Because it is not God who has instituted us, who has instituted these things. It is man-made. And when man push God aside and have respect to sun, moon, and star, and their distance together and their rulership from man, you degrade God to nobody, and you let the moon and star be the ruler of your life. And because you stay in that state, when you die in that state, you will go to hell. So the Lord used Israel as a nation of light and made Moses make a proclamation on earth so that nobody must repeat it, yet the world has repeated it. We saw in Deuteronomy chapter 17 verse 2 to 4, we realize that God is telling Moses to be careful and to watch the conduct of men and women within the camp. That if there is any man, any woman, who they watch their lifestyle and they see that they bow to moon, the sun, and the host of heaven, and Moses do diligent research and vigilance and realize that it is true. This man, this woman is worshiping and subjecting himself or herself to this moon and star and the host of heaven. If Moses is very serious and get the confirmation from verse 3 and 4, this man or this woman must be brought outside the camp and they must stone him till death. This is the evidence and the example God gave to Israel, that men who will watch Israel and want to worship him, Jehovah, must realize that he hates the rulership of men who succumb to the rulership of stars, moon, and sun. And the constitution of the whole heavens must not rule man. So if any Israelite will allow the constitution of heavens to rule him, that person will die. That is why Mystery Babylon, whoever is ruled by these signs and these dates, and their character is ruled by the sun and the moon and the rest, Ash Wednesday, Lent and the rest, all these things within monthly prognosticators, these people will die. It's 100% assurance that if you are a Catholic member and you don't run away from Mystery Babylon and you die under this rule, no matter how beautiful your funeral service will be, you are in hell. I say it with 100% assurance because it is scripture. We realize that because God has used this as an example already as Israelites, he came back to Isaiah, and in Isaiah 47 verse 14, he went into details and talked about the destruction of men who are ruled by these stargazers and these astrologers and these monthly prognosticators. So in verse 14, we see a detailed destruction of men. And God went on and talked about not the physical destruction alone, but it talks even after their death, where they are going to be. So in verse 14 of Isaiah 47, we see, behold, be as stubble. That is the men who are stargazers, astrologers, and who are influenced by these monthly people. They shall be as stubble. The fire shall burn them. They shall not deliver themselves from the power of the flame. That is, he's going now beyond physical life. Because the last two words there prove that every fire that burns on earth ceases. For a time, it becomes ashes. Every fire that burns on earth, it's only one fire that burns that does not have end, hell. So the last two verses, you see, you will not deliver yourself from the power of flame. There shall not be a coal to warm at. In other words, you will not ever have coolness in your life, nor fire to sit before you. When you are cold, and then in the villages, you can just raise your fire and then put your hand on it like this, and then you say that you are feeling warm. Or you will sit in front of fire, and the fire will bath you, feel warm. You will never have that chance. There's no coldness. Where you are going to die, you have no power for you to deliver yourself from the flame, or there is no coldness. There's only one place where fire burns and it doesn't end. That's hell. We look at it in scripture. So God is telling Isaiah that people who are being influenced by these moon stars and the stargazers and all these things, if you are not careful and you die, you start burning in fire, that fire will never end because you are in hell. God went on and gave them, say, you shall not have comfort. You have not have power over the flame to put the flame off. You have no power. And also you will never have 1 inch,